Ethereum is dead. I'm going to sell all of my Ethereum and buy Solana. Now, that thought has literally crossed my mind at least 100 times over the past few weeks. And I'm pretty sure that if you're paying attention to what's going on in crypto Twitter and YouTube, that thought has crossed your mind as well. We've heard a lot of people talk about this. So, is that a smart move? Before we make any brash decisions, let's dive into the evidence and find out. And I'm also going to update you guys on some of the most important lessons that you can learn at the end of this video to help you identify exactly where you should be buying to make the most profits in this upcoming bull run. All right, guys, if you're excited to find out the answers to these questions, make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel subscribe to the channel if you're not already. If you're not, why wouldn't you be? Like, we've done like 3 or 4 calls over the past 2 weeks that have done 5 or 6x in the period like this. So, all right, guys, let's get into it. Fireworks? There we go. Okay. All right. So, first thing is this. We're witnessing the death of Ethereum. It's literally dying before our eyes. We rest in peace, Vitalik. Rest in peace, because Ethereum's done for. It's just done. Like, Solana has solved all of the problems, and there's no more place for ETH anymore. Sol is exceeding ETH's daily DEX volume, active addresses, and numbers of transactions. This is what L2 scaling looks like for ETH. Being overtaken by Sol is a price it must pay, a sign ETH's failure as much as Sol's success. ETH's lack of layer 1 capacity is now its Achilles heel. Things like this we've been hearing over and over and over and over again, right? And so Bobby over here says, why are all the ETH guys waking up just now? The fundamentals and user experience behind Solana were the exact same when it was at $10. Just because it's at $80 and all of a sudden Solana is way better, hilarious to witness capitulation. So I'm going to show you kind of both sides of the argument, and then we'll get into the thesis behind what's going on. And more importantly, again, the question is, are we selling all of our Ethereum to buy something like Solana? Or could this be the best opportunity to buy Solana when everybody else has lost belief in it? Or sorry, Ethereum, when everybody else has lost belief in it. Let's continue. Your business risk as an ETH holder is that essentially the only reason people use your chain is to gamble, and the gambling on Solana seems better. Okay, another theory here, or thesis. I've currently got 20 plus screenshots of the tweets about ETH, which have one of the following themes. ETH is dead. Fees are too expensive. Leaving the chain and never coming back. I've heard that one a lot recently. Comparison of TVL versus revenue to other layer 1s, mainly Sol. Flippening versus other chains. Why, you ask? And do you guys remember, if you were here last bull run, everyone said that ETH was going to flip Bitcoin, right? Like, everyone's waiting for the flippening of ETH. And now it's like, now that's gone, right? Because now it's Solana. Why, you ask? Because in 12 months' time, I'll put them onto a chart which coincides with the Pico bottom. Save this tweet, fam, because I will be coming back to it. So what he's saying here is a difference of opinion. And we will get into this too. I will literally show you a chart where how to make the most money in this industry is to buy the Pico bottom. So let's keep going here. We're going to build this case. So much higher, says Ansem. And this is this guy, the Sassel.eth. He's basically an ETH Maxi, and he goes in. I'm not going to show you all these things, but basically he says Ethereum is so inferior. If Ethereum is so inferior as a technology and ecosystem, why do people think it's dead? Need to consistently talk about it. So basically, he's just talking shit about Ethereum, more talking shit about Ethereum, and then he goes into, where was it? Somewhere, is it here? Yeah, and then he goes, I feel very guilty of bashing other crypto ecosystems over the years, though earlier this year I made commitment to stop doing this because it's toxic and divisive, and I wanted to be a force for good in this industry. We grow as humans by learning. And then, yeah, then he says, laugh my ass off. And then Kobe says, wow, Solana must be extremely high right now, huh? It's just because when you have such a strong opinion about something and you realize that maybe you were wrong, or maybe that your thesis maybe was invalidated as like Ethereum being the supreme king, you got to like take a step back and, you know, say, whoops, maybe I shouldn't have been so aggressive. All right, Miles comes in to say, it's the Ethereum is dead stage of the cycle again. This narrative seems to intermittently near its head, usually when ETH is experiencing slow price action. Funnily, just 6 months ago, people were saying the same thing about Solana and Alt L1 thesis, which is very, very true, including myself. Don't forget that Ethereum still has the largest developer ecosystem, the largest amount of funding by far, a looming spot ETF, and institutional credibility no other crypto outside BTC has, the most users, TVL, and transactions, including layer 2s, superior decentralization and security to most other blockchains, a strong deflationary mechanism, especially in a bull run when network activity is high. Fade it, and you will peril. This is coming from a guy who also holds a bag of SOL and a variety of Alt L1s and L2s, which I completely agree with Miles here that, like, you don't want to fade this narrative. ETH is not going away. It's not going to zero anytime soon. We'll get into that. Arthur Hayes says, fam, I have a confession to make. I received a message from the Lord while meditating. He said, dump that Sam coin POS and profess your love for Archangel Vitalik. So I dumped SOL and bought more ETH to 5,000. And it's not so much, guys, both Solana and Ethereum are going to be great this coming bull run, and they really serve different purposes. The thing about Ethereum is it has more trust, and it's likely to get an ETF soon. And as you will get into this video, but more, well, I'll save it for you because it's good. But basically, people follow price. If something goes up, it's good. If price goes down, it's bad all of a sudden, right? And that will happen. Mark my words on this for sure. And Scott Melker says, tell me ETH is dead again so that I can feel comfortable buying more. And Johnny says, it's hilarious watching the same people who fumbled the BTC ETF trade over the last 3 or 4 months now say Ethereum is dead while it's about to put its macro low. It's the exact same thing, right? So people who didn't, if you guys weren't watching, if you weren't watching the channel, or if you are watching this channel, you know this has been coming for a long time. We've been planning this, right? I told you guys that the bottom was in after FTX, and we started coming in fairly aggressively, like into Q2 of this year, because and especially very aggressively as soon as we knew the ETF was on the horizon. But guess what? The ETH ETF is on the horizon as well. You better believe that very shortly after the Bitcoin Ethereum is the Bitcoin ETF is approved, next is Ethereum ETF. It will also likely be approved because a lot of the same arguments will apply because we have ETH futures already. And so everything we've talked about in these videos, the Grayscale lawsuit, all this stuff is going to apply to ETH as well. Plus institutions, plus price action will make it pump. And we're literally sitting here at basically a stable coin. ETH hasn't really moved so much. Today was a little bit, and we'll get into today's price action in just a second here. But the next easiest trade over the next few months is riding ETH ETF hype. Don't fumble it. Exactly. So for me, I'm not selling any of my ETH at all. I've acquired more Solana because I've become more bullish on Solana, but I'm not selling my ETH for it. And in fact, I think that a good move might actually be once the Bitcoin ETF is approved to then maybe take some of those, because that's going to pump like crazy, and then all attention shifts to ETH. And at that point, ETH is going to pump like crazy. So, and ETH will probably eat up a lot of market share. It'll probably suck liquidity out of Bitcoin, suck liquidity out of Solana. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see a massive rally for Ethereum second week of January until probably May or something like that. Mark my words, this will be the Ethereum season, and probably go in longer, because after the ETF is approved, accumulation, price, and all of a sudden ETH becomes God again, and people stop thinking that it's going to die. Last year, everyone here used to make fun of BTC, and ETH outperformed it during the mega rally. ETH was meant to be the future #1 coin to flip the outdated Dana coin Bitcoin. I talked about this earlier. Similarly, Sol got a fair bit of hate post FTX crash and was written off completely for underperformance, and now everyone loves it at $100. Timeline Max hates ETH right now as it was weak because of lack of narrative. During this rally, suspect that change eventually, as Q1 probably has a stronger narrative for ETH. Literally what I just said. And then also what I said, good price equals good tech, bad price equals bad tech. Like, that's the logic that we live in here in this world. It's all narrative driven. This is what we've been telling you guys forever. Imagine being bearish ETH here. The only asset in crypto with actual fundamentals. I don't necessarily agree with that at all, but ETH bearish is silly here. Confused by crypto Twitter sentiment around ETH. ETH is not going to, nor should it, die. There's 0% chance. Its design is inefficient and needs a ton of work, but it's still the most battle-tested thing in prod that we have right now. And that's what institutions want to see when they're building on something, when they want to transfer large amounts of value, when they have their enterprise smart contracts. They want to use something that's battle-tested. They're not going to use non-battle tested. And to be fair, ETH is the only smart contract platform that's battle tested, right? Solana, even though we're bullish on it, had a lot of problems last season. So this season, if this season Solana is able to process all these transactions and continue to not have downtime and operate as it wants to, then next season Solana will be a force to reckon with for sure. And so this is kind of like, this bull run is kind of like the way I'm thinking about this is ETH will be the institutional chain where a lot of money will be, and Solana will be the people's chain. Cheap, fast, retail, where ETH is slow, expensive, trusted, dinosaur, institutional, right? Which isn't all true, but that's a high-level way to kind of look at things here. Starting to think that Maxi camp of ETH community understands fee-burning value the least. Shrinking supply, ain't it? Sustainable security without diluting ETH holders through unchecked inflation. Basically the same thing other chains do. So even though Ethereum has an emission schedule, meaning creates new coins and gives them to validators, because it's such a busy and expensive network, that goes to use back to burn the Ethereum tokens to essentially, in a busy time, make it a deflationary token model where every other layer one is inflationary. Tokens are minted out of thin air, and there's not enough burn pressure or no burn pressure at all, which keeps the supply inflating, which is not the model that we would like to see for the value for token go up, essentially. Anthem says, for those saying ETH is dead, you are being silly. There are too many people working on building out the Ethereum roll-up ecosystem for it to fail. More accurately, you should say that it's overpriced compared to the rest of the market, and other L1s will make up the ground. Only downside of ETH is that it has many huge catalysts in 2024. I don't know why I'm confused why it says only downside of ETH. Maybe referring to this. ETH's issue is simple. No main character or clear narrative. But there are many bullish things to look forward to. The ETF, likely to happen. EIP 4844 scales ETH to 750 transactions per second. Not crazy, not 10,000, but 750 is literally like, it's like a, I don't know, what is it? Like a 50 times, let's see, 12, 10. it's like a, I don't know, what is this? Like 60 times, yeah, almost 60 times increase in throughput. That's good. Not to mention the roll-up L2 ecosystem that's going to be incredible. Plus, once we have things like Chainlink CCIP and account abstraction, this ecosystem will be completely cohesive, right? You'll be able to operate, on one app on, let's say, ZK Sync, and if you need to send liquidity or a message to something on Optimism, you can do all of that without gas, without having to care about what RPC you connect MetaMask to and all this complicated Web3 stuff. This is developing for Ethereum. It's going to make it a far better user experience. And with L2s, you have also cheap and fast. So there's no way in hell ETH is dying. And it's been so the narrative of ETH as a value, as an investment, has been completely underlooked. And now that we're so close away from this thing, a spotlight coming on this, for me, I'm looking at this as an opportunity here. And Hasaka, I talk about him from time to time. You guys know this. He made a tweet today, punted some beta ETH, meaning the layer 2s, and they pumped. This guy is insane. Hasaka, it says, one man, the power to shift the focus of the entire market. Insane. And you can see after Hasaka tweeted, you can see that we have GMX up 2%, Lido up 7%, Optimism up. And these things even pumped more after this tweet. ARB up 12%. And even BTC gaining on Bitcoin 2.5%. Did Hasaka just fix the ETH roll-up tech? Bringing more attention back to it. Very, very, very good thing. So Charles says, the SEC Gov is having what is described as a rare joint conference. I told you guys about this last night as well. With prospective spot Bitcoin ETF filers as it closely watched decision looms on whether to give these cuz the green light to sell small investors access to crypto. But I'll show you guys something else here in just a second as well. And of course, Gary Gensler trolling crypto until the very last minute before he finally is forced to approve the Bitcoin spot ETF basically on Christmas Eve. There's speculation, guys, that today, potentially, we might even get the approval. If it doesn't happen today, then I'm very, very confident it happens between January 8th and 10th. But there is speculation that potentially today we see this approval.
There's a lot of non-compliance with the securities laws that are there to help give you the disclosure so you can make the investment decision, but also to protect you against fraud and manipulation. And there's been far too much fraud. And
I think Gary's a meme, so I'm going to do Kyle with a hat while we watch this.
And bad actors in the crypto field. There's a lot of non-compliance, not only with the securities laws, but other laws around anti-money laundering and protecting the public. This is really the Wild West, and it's around the globe. I would say, again, this is a small part of our U.S. capital markets, but it can undermine.
But basically what Gary's doing, look, he has to do this because this ETF is coming, and he wants to warn people that to be careful, Bitcoin is dangerous. And guys, as you can see, if you watched my video yesterday, you could see all the trades I had open. I closed them to the AVAX trade, the Solana trade. I made really good profits on those. I didn't sell at the top, but the only one I felt comfortable keeping open right now, and I want to keep open because literally this spot Bitcoin ETF could happen today, and this thing could skyrocket. You can see it's still a very hefty position, almost $1.1 million at a 16x leverage right now. And I'm just waiting for this thing to pop off. If you guys want to join us in the VVIP group, or you want to trade on Bybit or Levex, you can trade on Levex if you can't trade on Bybit from your KYC. Use the links in the description below. Not only will you get big, fat, juicy bonuses on both, but you also get access to the best private Telegram group in the planet, where we are giving crazy alpha, where people are making the past week, we've had like 5 to 6x calls. And in the past month or something, we even had some 10x or greater calls in there as well. Oh, ETH, you're fucking with me. Look at me. I thought I was like ETH's going, baby. And then it's like, this is why you have to be a better trader than me. This is why you have to understand some things. and be more patient. But I'm learning. I'm getting better. But you can see, I don't know why it doesn't show my buy marker here, but you can see I like bought somewhere over here, and then I got super nervous. I'm like, oh, it's going down, and then now it's pumping back up. Like I said, guys, ETH is a narrative that is developing right now. You can see it here from the chart. Look at this. Very, very powerful. Don't fade it, but it's still sitting around 23. Let's go to let's look at the daily chart. So you can see that it's basically been sitting around like forever. You know, forever, ranging from, look at this, ranging between, well, that's not so good. Yeah, let's go over here. So, you know, on the low, ranging between like 1,600 and 2,200 for like, actually for longer, since halfway, for 6 months already. Just very sideways. This thing is destined for a breakout. And look, it looks like here, look right now, it looks like it's about to break this resistance line right here. If it does, this is probably a really good time to put in a long. Should we do it? I don't know, guys. I've made a couple of bad trades. Let's do something. But we're going to do conservative because it seems like actually what I should do responsibly is wait for it to break this resistance line. When it does, then I'm going to come back into this. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. There's resistance here. Let's see if it breaks it or not. Okay, taking with hat off. Okay, so, okay, here's an important lesson for you guys to learn. And you might be asking me, like, what about, what's it called? Solana backwards and WIF and COC. So today proved COC will be at a $1 billion market cap within the next 14 days and even a chance by next week. Quick thread and data on why. This is an important lesson for you guys to learn. COC continues to flow the exact narrative laid out by meme coin giants like Pepe and Bonk. Let's take a look at what happened. This will give you guys like the exact game plan for meme coins and why I bought more recently. So this is CAC. The best name for a meme coin ever, I think. So you can see that. So basically it was doing this, nothing, and then had this wild kind of pump. And now we have this big correction. Okay, let's go look at it at the actual chart. So you can see exactly what we're talking about, right? Let's extend this thing out to, let's go to 4-hour chart. Break it down a little bit. And it looks like that, right? So flat, skyrockets up crazy to like 300 mil. We're now sitting at just under 50% correction. But guys, right now is probably a phenomenal time to buy. Let's mark this down at the price here at $164 million market cap and this video. And let's go back to the lesson here. So let's look at the game plan. So what happened to everyone else? Well, Pepe, same thing. Sideways. Nice pump. 58% correction before it skyrockets up 600%. And this is a 4-hour chart. So from the time it came down, from this like local top, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 day, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 days, and then started to make a way up slowly, and then bam, skyrocket, right? Let's look at the next one. Bonk. Bonk was a bit longer. Same thing, 4-hour chart. Sideways. Forever. Bonk was a bit more, grew a bit more responsibly here. But again, came up, boom, 43% correction, moved sideways for about a week before it skyrocketed up. So now what are we doing? Now let's take a look at Dog with Hat. Okay, maybe I put it back on for this particular segment. There we go. That's more appropriate. So Dog with Hat, we could probably expect the same kind of thing to happen. It was up there at I think 320 million before. Let's look at this price range here. Bam to bam. 40% correction. Expect for it to either come down another 20% or go sideways for, this is a 4-hour chart, maybe a couple more days before boom, up to 1 billion in my opinion. Now let's take a look at ANALOS, or as I say, ANALOS. And this thing had, also, yeah, so this is not, we don't have this time here. So I expect this thing to probably follow the same suits, right? And a lot of people were quite scared here before. Let's look at the, because it's not so long, let's look at the 30-minute chart. So I know a lot of people here who thought that they bought the top. But guys, it's following the same kind of thing. Sideways, 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 pump up. Let's see what this, I think this thing has to go, I think this has to go up higher. I think this thing has to go to like again, like 200 million, something like that. Bam, 40 to 60% correction before it skyrockets back up. But let's just take a look just so we know here. Okay, 60% correction. This thing also could perform the same kind of maneuver here. And Kok Inu. So again, where are we at? Well, we saw in the first chart from the tweet over there, but now we've got this 60% correction moving sideways, bam, up to 1 billion. Guys, again, probably a great time, and you can start to see the green lines over here as well. It's coming back up. Probably a great time to start accumulating down in this range. I don't think this thing is going away at all. I haven't sold. I just added to my bag. This ANALOS, I added to my bag down here as well. And Dog with Hat, of course. Kyle with Hat, very bullish on WIF. I've been since, you guys know, we've been talking about it since 30 million. And this thing is going to the moon, in my opinion. And guys, like Research Coin too. This is, I'm not, like, not meme coin, but like I just wanted to bring it up because, dude, this is Brian Armstrong's project, and it's sitting at a $31 million market cap. Don't fade this thing. Yeah, it's an Ethereum narrative. It's probably going to pump like crazy. Oh, look, RPILL pumping like crazy too. I told you guys about RPILL too at 6 million. Looks like it's getting some good momentum. See, same kind of, it's the same kind of thing. And the lesson here, guys, is this: buy here, buy here, buy here, buy here. You know, things pump, people get excited, they buy in, and then they think, oh, this is the end of it. I fucked up. I bought the top. I bought the Pico top. You're always going to make the most money if you can buy when everybody else is scared. This is how charts look on their way up to skyrockets to the moon. And that's the most important lesson that you need to learn today. Anyway, guys, follow me on X if you're not, at Kyle_Chasse. Let me know in the comments below what you think about ETH. Is ETH dead? Are you rotating into Sol? How about L2s? I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.